I'm Paul.
I'm Devin.
Together, we're Dads and Dice, two dads who like to play some games during our free time.
That's right, and today we are reviewing FLAMECRAFT, the game about a magical village, talking dragons, enchantments, and shopping. FLAMECRAFT is a pseudo worker placement, pseudo engine building game where you're going to be trying to gather resources, build enchantments, kind of appease dragons, and just kind of gain as much reputation as you can throughout the game.
Yeah, so first of all, whenever you're getting this game out, first thing that you're going to notice is obviously all the artwork on it, right? I think that's the main draw to this game is these cute artisan dragons that have special abilities, right? You have your meat dragons, your potion dragons, your anvil dragons, the leaves, the bread, right? All of these different types of resources on these dragons. And then obviously all the little cute names on there. So I think that's what the appeal to this game is. Opening it up, I was pretty happy with what was in there. You had an awesome playing mat, right? I thought that was really, really enjoyable. You had the cute little dragon tokens, the little meeples there, and then of course all the resource cardboard. So that was really good in opening the box.
Yeah, there is a lot to this game, but it's just kind of a lot looking, or a lot on the table, I should say, because really, when it comes to the gameplay, there's not really a lot to this game. Gameplay is very, very simple. You go to a space, and you either gather resources, little couple actions that go with it, but it's essentially just gathering resources, or you go to a space and you deposit those resources to gain victory points. And that is really kind of the meat and bones of the game. There is a little bit of fat fluffed in there, but for the most part, it's you're going to go to one spot and you gather resources, and you're going to go to another and you're going to drop them off. And I'm going to say right now that for me, this game plays very light, very, very light, way on the lighter side than I would kind of expect for how expansive the player mat is and all the cards.
For the production value,
yeah,
right?
For the production value for sure. All the setup and whatnot. It's very much a light game in the same vein as something like a Splendor, something like a Century, almost kind of arguably like Lords of Waterdeep, although I might say that that's really kind of a weight step up compared to this.
Yeah, I kind of have similar thoughts there. This is going to be a game that is going to appeal to more people that want something good to look at while they're playing a game. It's not a bad game. Gameplay it's fine for what it is, right? You, like Devin said, you're gaining resources, you're trading in resources to enchant or to fulfill contracts. It's very simple, right? The steps are this, and this, and you just follow that. It does come with a great player reference card, right? That's something that it did really well. Just do this, and that. Not that it's super easy to forget, but it is nice to look at that to remind yourself. So I do give them props for putting that in there. This is going to be a game, it's going to play in about that 60-minute range. Maybe a little bit more with setup and takedown, right? But right around that 60 minutes. And I don't know if that is a good time for it, right? I would kind of like this to be more in the 45-minute range.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I do know that this game had a pretty big hype train behind it when it came out. There was a lot of people praising it, and so maybe I had higher expectations of it than I thought, and I kind of didn't know a whole lot. But it's like Paul said, it's not that it's a bad game, it's just there's a good amount of setup time. It is going to hit right at about that 60-minute play time. And for me, all of that is a bit too long for what it is, right? I mentioned a Splendor earlier. I think that this compares so much to something like a Splendor in my mind, that a Splendor can be set up, played, and taken down in 20, 25 minutes with two people. Honestly, kind of less, I think, a lot of times. And this game just, I was going to say maybe overstayed its welcome at the table. The times that I have played it, it usually hit a point where we were either looking at the enchantment deck or looking at the artisan dragon deck, and kind of at the table, everybody was thinking, hey, let's
focus on this one.
Let's focus on these to get these down and trigger the end of the game. Nobody was like, oh, we want to just keep drawing this out. And then, I'll kind of go over into the gameplay side of things more specifically. I think, there's a whole lot of different cards and there's different shops that come out. But ultimately, the way the gameplay has you just gather resources and then spend them, kind of the optimal way to play is always going to be, I'm just going to collect up a big pile of resources until I have dang near the max, and then I'm just going to keep, expending them, because I don't know, it's just the shops, the special shops, and there wasn't a whole lot of cool combo-iness that you could really do. It was just as simple as, I'm going to gather resources, and I'm going to play those resources. And like I said, there's a whole lot of games that do that very same thing in what I would consider a smaller time frame that I would rather play.
Yeah, and I think that is the most efficient way to play this game, right? Since all of those enchantment cards come out and they're a community kind of thing, you can't really plan for any of the other ones that are come out. So why not just have a bunch of resources in reserve and pay them out like there? That was kind of another issue that I had, was with the fancy dragons, right? You might have a game where you don't get very many of the daytime fancy dragons, and you have a bunch of the moon ones, but those are also just the luck of the draw, right? Like you might get one that is really dependent on for example, in our playthrough, on what cards have come out. Well, I only have control over 2 or 3 potion dragons that I've played, and I'm hoping that maybe you play more than that, right? So those are a little bit kind of, just at the whim of whatever you get, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you don't want to prolong that experience for much longer, right? If it was a little bit shorter of a game, I'd be more okay with just kind of getting lucky objective cards or whatever. But, if it's something that I'm going to be working to, I would like to have full control on this type of game.
Yeah, so I struggle to think what kind of gamer or group I personally would recommend this to, because again, it's not that it is a bad, horrible game by any means, just a bit lackluster for kind of our taste, right? And I can appreciate lighter games. It's just, this one just, I don't know, it left me wanting more. There was more I wanted to it, so I just don't know. I guess for the people that do enjoy the lighter, and I don't mean just simpler, like dummy simpler, but the lighter side of gaming, that want a kind of bigger, longer, more production valued game, this nails those things. But I would think for the typical hobby gamer, this is probably not going to be all that fulfilling.
Yeah, I think, you're talking about who this would appeal to. I could definitely see myself playing this game with my board gaming group at school, right? It is a step up from the games that they are normally playing. It is visually appealing, so that is going to be something that holds their attention a little bit longer, and it might help them learn these mechanisms, right? So it's, like you said, it's a pseudo worker placement. It's a sort of kind of shared engine building that's going on. So it's a good step up from what they're normally doing, kind of in this cute little package that they can learn about. This is definitely a game that it's very appealing to the eye, right? The table presence on it alone, it looks terrific on there. But for us, that's kind of not enough, right? We need a little bit more meat on there. But that's not to say that, that it's a bad game. It's a good game. I just think we need a little bit more.
Yeah, so that's kind of really all we have to say about FLAMECRAFT. Probably not one that ultimately stays in our collection. I can't really see us playing it too much, but that does not mean it's not for everybody's collection. There are going to be people out there that this definitely appeals to, and I understand that. So that's all we've got. As always, thank you so much for watching this. Please like, comment, subscribe. All those things help us. They help our channel grow. We'll see you later. That was good.
Today we are looking at FLAMECRAFT, a magical realm of village awakes and artisan dragons make coffee and cakes.